Okay.
Hi, hello.
Mm.
Okay, fast, fast.
Yeah, this place noisy.
Me actually do noisy. I beg mute your mic. Just on when you want to talk. Mute your mic.
Eh?
Mute your mic. Only when you want to
Okay.
talk. Only when you want to talk. Just on your phone. So, basic structure. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Which is like everyone that's reached this stage will already know by now. But there's something that's always happening on the 4 hour time frame. From 4 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, daily time frame, weekly time frame. There's something that's always happening repeatedly inside the market. Always happening. The thing is this when there's a break, and this is when there's a break in the first structure, which has to be a lower high. The first structure has to be a lower high for it to be considered. That's to break to be considered a lower high. You know, a lower high is something that's basically taking out the next low for it to be considered. This low has to be broken. This low has to be broken for this to be considered a lower high. So, first structure broken, second structure broken. Let's say it broke around there. Second structure broke there. The right happens. For daily, Monday, and the 1 week time frame. So it happens all the time on this following time frame. This, not that if you see a double break on the 1 hour time frame, it is not valid. But it has to happen either on the 4 hour time frame, daily time frame, and the weekly time frame. There's a way you align all of them together. And you should always know that the weekly time frame is always stronger than the daily and the 4 hour. The daily time frame is always stronger than the 4 hour, and the 4 hour time frame is not stronger than the day or the weekly time frame. Is not stronger. So when you see something happening on the daily time frame, it should not contradict what is happening on the 4 hour time frame. If it's contradicting it, you're meant to follow what is happening on the daily time frame. This logic of double break. I'm still going to break everything down small, small. So for now, when this first structure is broken, we want markets to take out the second structure. Whether it breaks it at this level, this one breaks the first one. Let's say this one breaks the second structure. Our fib is going to start from the last low of where the market first broke the first structure from here down to the swing where markets stopped at after breaking the second structure. That's how it goes. The settings for my fib after continuous backtesting is 0.445 and 0.5%. That's 50% and 45%, basically. 44.5%, sorry. 44.5% and 50%. So this red line represents my 44.5%. This gold line, this yellow line represents my 50%. So what I have noticed consistently, regularly on different cases, that markets always, after breaking the second structure, market always retrace to this level, the 44.5% zone, then takes out the high, or it retraces to the 50% zone and takes out the high. So you know that if you want to take a buy position, you don't want to be buying anywhere around here. You want to buy from 50%. That's what I would advise. If you want to have a setup, you want to buy below this 50% zone. Every from year to year, you want to have a setup for you to take. You need to have a setup for you to take after this has been confirmed. So I think like this like the basics of it. So now to take it to the when you take it to the market, it's more complicated than all this that I'm saying. But this is just to simplify everything, to give you an idea. So let's go to which trade can I use? Let me use USD Chief. No, USD Chief is too complicated. Okay, let's use AUDUSD. This one is like it's very simple. AUDUSD was a very simple setup. So let's even start let's even start from like normal what I've taught now. Let's just start from that. You just want to read. Let's go all the way to like 2022 or something. Then you tell me whether you're seeing it or not, if it's happening or not. So this is 2023. You should also note that this one we're not using the higher time frame of daily and weekly, so it won't be accurate. But I want you to see a pattern in what I have said. Kazim, you're still with me, right? Just on your mic and let me
Yeah, I'm
just.
still with I'm still
Okay,
with
yeah, no
you.
problem. Okay, so let's go with 2022. Okay, this is how far back as I can go. So this is the forward time frame. You can see a structure. This is our structure. First break, second break. We specify. This is the first break where this is second break where put it to the last low. So we can see that this market has not retraced to this level yet. So we'll keep on stretching until when market retraces. This is the last swing point before market retraced. So market retraced over here. So if this is still complicated for you, but like let me just try and explain what happened. So market came up here, market came up here and did this. So I want to explain this move over here. This move. Oh, what did I just do? Go back. Okay. Ah, let me go back to the. So I said I want to explain this move over here. What exactly happened there? So you can see another structure over here. I haven't considered that a structure. I'll consider this a structure. You can see structure over here. This one. So market came here, book here, and went here. Are you paying attention? So we can see, even though this we had a bearish structure, this structure breaks to the downside. Then we had this. That's our first structure countering that trend. Then we had this. So what happened here is markets. Let me remove all these dragons. Markets pushed this bearish push markets from from market was going to push markets down here. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen because a counter two structural break to the upside has happened. And let's say in the daily and weekly time frame, maybe it supports that motion that market is currently bullish. So overall, the bullishness will take hold. The first break to the upside, second break to the upside. What happened is markets pushed this down. This two structural break to the downside push this move down. This was the move it pushed down. Two, the two structural breaks to the upside. So let's say this fib that I'm looking at right here for the bearish move, push this down, then this one pushed it back up. So I'm going to delete this fib now to make it like at least look neater. So first break, second break for the bearish move, push down. First break, second break for the bullish move, push this. That was meant to push everything down. So it's expected to push this down if there was no two breaks. If there was no two breaks to the upside. First break, second break, if there was no two breaks to the upside. So it's expected to push this down completely. But it didn't because there was two breaks to the upside. So what it did instead was it pushed markets from this level down to either the 44.5% or the 50% level. Then after it got there, markets pushed up. Do you get what I mean? Kazim, let me hear if I'm like
Yeah, yeah,
you
I get
understand what
what
I
you
mean.
mean.
I
I get
hope
what you
it's
mean.
not too complicated. What I just explained that was not too complicated.
No, it's not complicated. Not
Okay.
complicated.
Push down because of the double structural break to the bullish side, it pushed it back
Mm.
up. After getting there, it pushed it back up. As easy as that.
Okay.
So there are cases where even though these two structural breaks happen, it will still push it down. That is because the overall trend on the daily and weekly time frame is demanding that market is selling. So you should be to look at the daily and the weekly time frame. Let's say, let's see if I look at the daily of this one. So I'm showing something that is working as far back as 2022. I'm showing you something that's working as far back as this is just the concept. So it's not for you to find your strategy within that concept. So I still get to go on to that one later. So what happened is right now on the daily time frame, actually market is bearish. Market is bearish. It has taken out this low. Then the fall. So in this case, market didn't push it all the way down, even though market was there, it didn't push it all the way down. What it followed was the two structural break that pushed it up. So it said, okay, market already said we started of going down over here. So after that two structural break on the 4 hour time frame, market just continue pushing up. So that push happened. This bearish push that was here happened, pushed it down. This bullish push pushed it back up. It retraced to this level over here. After retracing to the level, it takes out this high. So everything is meant to work in alignment with each other. Let me go back to the 4 hour time frame. Yeah, back. So go back to where we are. So that pushed it up. Next thing. So I also want to teach you something is that there are some things you will not consider as a break, and there are some things you consider as a break. Like this now, we can see a break over here. You can see a break over here. But the thing is that there is no second break in this structure from here to here. There is no second break to the upside. Why I'm saying there's no second break is for something to be considered a valid break. This is the this is the higher low. The higher low. This is the lower low. But the thing is, this over here is considered a a higher low. Sorry, this was meant. No, sorry, this is meant to be a higher low. Sorry, this is meant to be lower high. Don't mind me. This is lower high. For bearish trend, lower high, lower low. For for bullish trend, higher high, higher low. So this is a higher low. This is a this is a higher high. So this is a higher low, higher high. Then market breaks to this side. This is considered a lower low, lower high, lower high. So for something to be considered a break to the upside, it needs to break two lower highs. Two lower highs. It's not going to break a higher high. It's not meant to break a higher high. For let's say you're looking for a bullish retracement, it's meant to break two lower highs. Then if you're looking for it, let me even write it down. Bullish, bullish is two lower high. Bearish is two higher high. All right. Lower high. Bearish is two What did I even say again? Bearish is two waiting again. Two low is higher high. Two higher high. So we're looking for put this in your head. So you can always this is it can be considered the lower high. This is considered the lower low. This is considered the higher low because look at it was going bullish. This was going bullish. This is considered the write it down here. This is also considered the higher low. Higher low, higher low. So for bullish, we need something like two breaks of a lower high. So this is the first break. We cannot find the second break. So this is not considered a valid stop for retracement. This we can't consider this valid for retracement. Do not make a mistake considering this as a retracement. Don't. Let me look for another example. Whether if I can find bearish scenario or this a bearish case. Uh, yeah, something like this now. So over here is higher low. Please let me correct this. Bearish is too higher low. Because the thing is that honestly, I don't use all these terms when I'm trading. It's just something I see with my eyes, so I'm not actually thinking about this term. But this term is just for me to simplify it and teach you. First one,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
copy, paste. Second one will be this. Why I said so is because this one broke this one. We can't consider this again because this one was already taken out over here. So this is going to be our next one. Then the upside, what do you see is this. So we have two higher lows over here. This is for a bearish scenario now. First break would be this one. We'll consider this one. Second break, we'll consider. So even before even considering all that, you can even consider this right here, because there was another structure forming over here. This is going to be our this one over here, not this one. This one over here. This will be our higher low over here. So there was two structural breaks. This structural breaks to the downside. We use our fib on to where the structure ends. Did it retrace? No. We'll continue stretching it until when we get that retracement. Did it retrace? No, it does not retrace over here still. We'll keep stretching it. Did it retrace? No. We'll stretch it again. Did it retrace? Yes. Market retraced over here. Got above this level and this level. Then went all the way down. But the thing is that even apart from the fact that this has not gotten its own retracement, there are still more structures happening over here. So you're going to be reading every structure, then align everything together. Do you get what I mean? So you're going to have multiple fib levels on you're going to have multiple fibs on your charts, basically. Let me just
Wow.
go let me just go straight to market. Because all this talking is getting too much. I've explained the
You
basics.
guys talk am.
I've
You
explained the
guys talk
basics
am.
now.
Maybe clarify am.
So over here we have this. structure here. This was for the AUD USD trade. Oh, I saw it as a good trade. So we have two structures over here. One, because this one took out this low. One. Second one is this one. This one over here. So, bearish move. Then we have a break. We broke two of them. Then we run our fib from the beginning to the end until when we get our retracement. This is it. So I'm still expecting market to take out this high because of what do we see on AUD USD? A lot of, before normally people will be saying, oh, this is premium, this is discounts. Our markets know they actually work like that. If there's two structural breaks in a bullish move, it will still respect it. So normally, we would have said, oh, this is discount level, this is the end. We should not be buying here again. No, not be so. Not be actually so. So we have found something to support our continuous bullishness, which is this. We want market to retrace to this level and start buying up. So the thing is that you either find your type 1, type 2, type 3, which you already know about. You have 8 minutes left to when this class ends. Type 1, the type 1, type 2, type 3, you already know about it. I don't even need to draw it again. Let me just keep moving on. So we have this. Did you find any setup over here? Did you find any type 1 type? Can you see any type 1, type 2? Anything below from this 50% to this 0%? Can you see any type 1, type 2, type 3 anywhere here? I want you to, I want to ask, I'm asking you that question. Do you see any setup there? Kazim, Kazim,
Yeah?
do you see any type 1, type 2, or type 3 from this 50% to 0%? Do you see any setup over here? From this range to this range, do you see any setup?
This one to this one. So,
From here to here, everything here. I want you to find a setup from this level to this level. Inside this box. Do you see a setup here? Be honest, be very honest. Do you see a setup? Don't say because I'm asking you. Do you see a setup?
no, I can't see it. I can't see any clean setup. Clean
Thank you.
structure.
The thing is that there's actually no setup here. There's no setup here at all.
Mm.
So, but we have the logic that we expect market to retrace to this level and buy up. So what you're going to do, you're going to look for another setup. You look for another
Okay.
structural break 2 times, 2 structural breaks again. Like what exactly
Okay.
happened here? Because you're trying to catch the first retracement, not the second retracement.
First retracement.
What I mean is after you have gotten your swing point,
Mm.
you want to catch this
Okay.
first retracement to the
Okay.
upside.
Okay.
You're trying to catch that
Okay.
one, but you need to find the
Okay.
setup within that one.
Okay.
Then another structural break. This is another 4 hour again. This is double confirmation saying that this is bullish. So we had a double confirmation, 2 structural breaks over here, saying that this is bullish.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
we had another indication again telling you that this thing is bullish. This was the second indication. That's why I said this one was like a very A plus setup. I was so sure of it. Second indication telling you that this thing is bullish. So you put your fib from here to here.
Mm.
Then you can see that we cannot still see any clear setup. You go down to the 1 hour time.
Okay.
On the 1 hour time frame, what am I saying? My
Mm-hmm.
sweep,
Okay.
my sweep, my
Sweep,
liquidity,
liquidity, break of structure, type 2.
exactly.
Mm.
So this is why I said this one was an E plus setup. So remember, you are trying to catch
Okay.
the first retracement. So your setup is going to be within this first retracement. Your setup is meant to be part of it, not
Okay.
separate from it.
Oh,
What I mean,
okay.
part of
Part
it
of
and not
part.
separate from it, is something like this. If you say, oh, because you know that market is going to push up from here,
Mm.
no market is going to push up from here. You now say, oh, because you didn't see any setup here, you just wait for the setup to form. Somebody will now say, someone will now say, oh, I want to look for a setup within here. That, oh, I want to look for my setup again, even though it is not part of it's not part of the two structural breaks. It is separate from it. So if it's separate from it, you want to avoid it. You want it to be part of it. For something like this, it is part of the structure. So from the end to the the two swing points from this point to where the second break happened, you mark it out. Then you wait for your retracement. You have to make sure your liquidity is below the 50% zone. If your liquidity has to be below this 50% zone, then you know that market is going to go up from here. I usually put my entry at this side because I don't want to miss out on my trades. Because no, at the end of the day, my trades are still going to compound and I'm still going to be profitable. So I don't need those extra RR. Even if I take a minimum of 2 RR. And market would always go to the end. Would always go to the end. Would always. So it's up to you if you want to use QMR. You can choose to use QMR and target it 3.4. But me, because I don't want to miss out any of my trades, I always put it here. So that will be that will be all for now for today. Then we'll continue another day.
Okay. This is all for today.
Yeah, this is all for today.
Okay.
Just practice this double break. Always just know that your setup should be part of the two structural breaks and not separate from it.
Okay.
Do you
So
understand
part
that
of
part?
the structure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
Explain it to me,
understand.
please. I want to be sure you understand it.
Okay. Yeah. You said for a buy scenario
Okay.
was supposed to was supposed to is like of two lower highs, sharp, of two lower highs. So after the double break of the second break of structure, we're not supposed to do like the fib from the low to the second break of structure. Then the fib will give us the 45. We have a 45%, 44.5%, and 50%. So that retracement down to the 50, 45 and 50% range is now where we're trying to look for our like the range from the low to the high is not where we're trying to look for our setup. So
Perfect.
yeah, you
Perfect.
said you do it. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. That's
So
perfect.
we do it on weekly, and everything should align with each other. And if it's not aligning, like on the lower, like let's say 4 hours, not aligning with daily, that means we should listen to the daily own structure. I mean, the
Yes,
steering
exactly.
zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me even just go. Let me explain that last point on aligning issue.
Mm.
Let's go to
Okay,
GBP USD. I think something like that happened. So this is the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we have our first break over here. This is our first break.
okay.
first break over here, second break over here. Then you can see that after the second break happened,
Mm.
it didn't retrace to the 45%. Sorry, let me rejoin that page. It didn't retrace to the 45%. So since it didn't retrace to the 45%, we'll continue drawing. So in the
Okay,
scenario,
consider if it didn't retrace.
yeah, if it didn't retrace, you continue dragging it out.